K&C Masterpiece back here on 105 through the fan. Right now, we bring on AEW CEO, Jags co-owner, and the man who rocked the foundation of wrestling, Tony Khan. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I know one of my co-hosts has a lot of Jags questions, and we're going to get to that in just a second. But what I really want to know is your excitement level higher for Dynamite tonight and your announcement? Is it higher for the pay-per-view on Sunday, a stacked card? Where are you at with this?
Well, it's a great question. I think I'm focused on all of the above, but tonight the top priority is Dynamite on TBS. We're going to have an awesome show tonight. It's 7 o'clock on TBS, and I just think we're going to rock the wrestling world. I've got a huge announcement, a big card coming up, and we're on the road to Revolution, like you mentioned, and everything tonight, it bodes very well for a really exciting pay-per-view show on Sunday, Revolution, on Bleacher Report, or anywhere you can buy pay-per-views, cable and satellite. And I'm fired up for that also, but I think all roads to Revolution go through tonight's show, Dynamite on TBS.
Tony, I'm a huge fan of the product of what you've been putting out. The collective group that you've put together has been phenomenal. So I'm going to be very blunt with this question. What's the huge announcement?
That's a very blunt question. Well, I have to save it for tonight, so I would love to share it with you guys now, but if you guys can wait several hours, it's going to be out tonight, 7 o'clock on TBS, and I promise it'll be worth the wait. And you waited this long, so maybe just wait till tonight.
Excellent. All right.
That's a good point. Yeah. So you shouldn't say anything about, I wonder if I just said it, if you could just nod your head. Would I be walking by a river or perhaps streaming by something? Is there anything there that you can tell me?
Well, I can't tell you anything
okay.
today, but I can tell you more tonight on Dynamite on TBS, I promise. But there's plenty of stuff I could talk about today. Where I'm actually really looking forward to coming back to the Dallas area very soon. We've got AEW in April, just over a month away, and we were there very recently for one of our biggest shows, Winter is Coming. We had such a great experience. The crowd was so awesome. I said we have to come back soon. And I wanted to bring back our show, and so in April we're there in the Metroplex for Rampage and Battle of the Belts, and it's going to be awesome.
Now, Battle of the Belts 2 is going to be at the Curtis Colwell Center in Garland. I actually live in Garland, but I want to kick it over to my co-host, former Major League Baseball player Mike Bassick, because I took him to Winter is Coming, and it was the first wrestling event he had been to since the days of the Sportatorium here in the Metroplex in the 80s. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike Bassick because that 1 hour draw was the first wrestling match he had seen in 30 years.
Mr. Khan, that was awesome. It was really fun. First time to go to a wrestling event since I was a kid. The 1 hour was pretty awesome. I'm going to say this as a person who is not a huge wrestling fan. I love your bad guys. They are way more entertaining to me than the good guys. They have such personality. I was rooting for the bad guys. So I'm just
Bryan
wondering.
Danielson. He was rooting for Bryan Danielson.
I was wondering.
Well, he's got a lot of.
Go ahead.
That's great. Well, he's got a lot of personality. That's great. I love what you're saying. I mean, I feel the same way. They really make the show, so that's really interesting to hear. It's interesting to hear feedback. You popped me, as we say in the wrestling business, to hear that your first wrestling match in person. I'm just laughing because to imagine not going to a wrestling match for 30 years and coming back to see Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page in that 1 hour draw. That's awesome.
At what point he said, this feels like a longer match than usual. And I was like, yeah, no, this is definitely not the way it usually plays out.
Yeah, their cardio awesome. There was pretty awesome.
Well, you must know a lot about cardio, having played sport at an elite level. And, for what they did, I mean, you're absolutely right. Those guys worked so hard to be able to put together that match and to fight for an hour like they did and bleed and sweat and brawl. It was just really cool. So thank you guys for coming to that show, and I'm excited to have you guys again, hopefully here in April 15th for Rampage and Battle of the Belts too.
2 months ago, I was at a card show, and the AEW brand new card came out was the hot card of the whole show, hotter than football cards, hotter than baseball cards. Did you imagine years ago that eventually when you put out a card of AEW that it would be the hottest product when it came out?
Yeah, I did. I really did. I wanted our merchandising, whether it's the trading cards, our action figures. We're launching video games. We sell a ton of T-shirts. And I really did believe in it when we started, but it's gotten even bigger as we've gone on. We signed all these big stars along the way, like CM Punk and Sting, and you guys mentioned Bryan Danielson. And a lot of big names have come in, and they've only made it stronger. They've taken a show that was very strong and our merchandising that was very strong, and it's through the roof to where we are competitive with anybody in terms of some of the things we do in terms of merchandising. Our action figures will move at a rate comparable to anybody, some of the top properties in all of sports, for example. And our trading cards, that is really cool to hear from you firsthand. It's always great to hear feedback on the ground from somebody who was there. So I've heard that we were a hot card at the show, but to hear it firsthand, that's pretty cool, man.
We're talking with AEW CEO, Jags co-owner Tony Khan right here on The Fan, and I promise this is 100% true. Back in November, we do a charity show, a marathon charity show every year for a charity we care about called My Possibilities, and one of the things that we auctioned off is watch a wrestling event with me, and the wrestling event that the winning bidders chose is this Sunday's Revolution show. So I'm going to have the people who bid money for charity. We're getting.
Oh, they could have picked any wrestling.
They could have
event
picked any show. And look, not to throw the competition under the bus, but they were like, "No, we'll skip the Royal Rumble. We're going to go with Revolution." That is a true story. We're getting barbecue. We're getting pizza. Anything else you think we need to make Sunday night's viewing experience complete?
Oh man. Well, you can't go wrong with a good burger. And it sounds like you guys got all the amenities and all the good stuff. So it sounds like a great time. I am flattered, and it means the world that this is the show that they chose and that you chose to do that. And it sounds like a great event. And if there's anything I can do, to be a part of it, next November, or help you guys out with that in your charity drive, I would love to, because it sounds like a great cause.
I will follow up with you about that, and you could just ask Mark Henry. He comes in studio with us. He loves us. He'll back us up.
Hey, Tony, I did want to get a Jags question in real quick. My co-host Mike Bassick and I both bought some Trevor Lawrence sets. I ended up turning mine around for a very good profit in the card world. Is Trevor Lawrence stock going to continue to go up this offseason, and is it going to continue to go up because y'all invest heavily in offensive line?
Well, those are a couple different questions. I do think his stock will continue to rise, and offensive line, in terms of how we invest in it, we'll have to look. I think it is a priority for us across the line, and we just re-signed Tyler Shatley, who's a great player, a fellow Clemson guy like Trevor, and has been really strong for us over the years, and will continue to keep the line strong. And some of that will be our own people, and then a mix of draft picks and free agency. So we're kind of in that process right now. It's the NFL Combine as we speak. We're gathering information, and this is a week where you get thousands of data points across hundreds of players. So we're going to learn a lot, and absolutely a big priority for us is to keep Trevor healthy and to give him good pass protection, and also give us a strong run blocking line.
Appreciate your time very much, good sir. And if you guys are thinking about trading the number one pick, just tell us you got to go right now.
Yep.
Well, it's my pleasure. Steven, I do love being down there in Dallas, and Jerry and Steven have always been really good to me. Jerry and Steven are very close friends of mine, so you guys have a great organization down there, and I love the Dallas area, so I can't wait to come back next month for Rampage and Battle of the Belts. We got tickets on sale for April 15th, and I'll be down there, so hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me.